and you go ahead and you become that knight in the shining armor. I'm going to save a hoe. I'm going to save you, baby. Hey, everybody. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about romance scams. And I've been talking about this for the past 2 years, and still many guys fall for these scams. But before we get started, thank you to all my subscribers, especially those subscribers who have been with me since the beginning. And a special thanks to all of you that have been subscribing here in the last few months. Our subscriber rate has gone up, and I welcome all you new viewers to the channel. So scams and romance scams. Let me tell you, usually when you meet somebody online, a lot of guys are sitting home, they're sitting on their couch, they're bored, they're lonely, they got money in the bank. Then some way, somehow online, they meet somebody. They either meet the girl on Facebook, maybe it's on a TikTok. They send a message, saying hi to some girl on TikTok, or maybe it's a YouTube blogger that they talk to, but somehow they meet somebody online. A lot of these girls start out with small things. They ask just for little things to feel you out, to see if you're responsive to their needs, and if they need something, how quickly you are to respond. And the most common, and guys, leave me a comment below if you've never given any money to any girl online. I don't think there's many people have done that. I've given money to girls online. I've bought things for girls online. I've been scammed. And all these scams that I'm going to be telling you about have happened to me, except for a couple of them. But most of them have happened to me at one time or another. And I'm sure it's happened to many guys out there. The easiest scam that girls pull just after you first meet them, maybe you've been chatting with them online for a couple of weeks, or maybe a couple hours, maybe a couple minutes or a couple days. They need load. They'll ask you, they'll say, hey, I really like talking to you, but I need to have some load. I have no load, so I'm going to have to hang up. I just can't talk to you. I can't afford to pay for the load. And because we're sitting at home and we're lonely and we're looking for companionship, sending somebody $5 or 500 pesos for load, which is under $10 US, is a small thing to do, to have somebody who's going to talk to you, somebody who's going to keep you company in the evening when you're sitting at home alone. And what's $10 to you? It's nothing. But to that girl, it's the start. It's a start of something. So you send her load. Another thing they'll use is, we need some food. We need to go buy some milk, some bread. We need to go buy some pork. They just don't have any food. So that's the second thing that they would throw at you, hoping that you'll send a little something to them. And they get to feel your response. They can feel if you're hesitant or if you're excited and happy to help, and they go with that. So once they have you sending them load, maybe sending them a little money, $20 or $30, so they can buy food, that is usually the start of a romance scam. They're telling you how much they like you, how much they enjoy talking to you. They just want to keep the conversation going. They get on some sort of schedule where they want to talk to you a lot. Maybe they'll call you when you first wake up in the morning, and that's a good feeling. You've been sleeping, you wake up, and here's somebody halfway around the world, young and beautiful, wanting to talk to you. They want to make sure you got up. They want to make sure you're okay. They want to make sure you have your breakfast, you have your coffee. They can't make it for you, but they're acting like they're very interested in you, and they want to make sure that you're happy and you're healthy and you're eating right. And they're just putting those little hooks into you as a romance scam. They're making you feel like that girl really loves you and cares for you. Now, as time goes by, maybe a day or two, maybe a week, they'll start to tell you, hey, I'm having trouble with my phone. Or they'll tell you, this isn't my phone, it's my cousin's phone. I've been borrowing their phone and they want it back. So I'm not going to be able to talk to you anymore. And they start making you feel guilty. And with this feeling guilty, you decide, okay, let me go buy you a phone. And one of two things going to happen. You're going to get on Amazon and you're going to buy a phone and you're going to ship it to them, or you're going to tell the girl, go pick out a phone, show me the phone you want, how much it is, and I'll send you the money. because you want to keep talking to her. So she needs to have a way to communicate with you, and it's through the phone. And chances are you're now talking on Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp. It's the easiest way for the Filipinas to communicate. So they go to the store, they look at phones, they start taking pictures of different phones. They'll show you a phone for 2,000 pesos. They'll show you a phone 13,000 pesos. And they'll show you a phone for 25,000 pesos. And they'll make you feel guilty about the cheap one. They'll say something like, well, we can get this 2,000 peso phone, but it doesn't work so good. The camera's not good. I won't be able to do video chat with you. We can only text back and forth. So they make you feel bad. And because you want to talk to her and you want to see her, during the video chat, you're going to buy a more expensive phone. So you send her the money. Now, when you send the money, is she really buying a phone? Most of the time she already has a phone and she's saying that it's broken, but it really isn't. And she's sometimes telling you it's a cousin's phone, but it really isn't. It's her phone. And you're sending them the money. Then they show you their phone. Oh, honey, thank you so much for buying me this phone. And they just pocketed, 8,000 pesos or whatever amount of money you sent them. So they got you hooked. They're calling you every day. They're making sure that you are only chatting with them. They are going to initiate a video chat. And if you don't pick it up right away and connect, they're going to call again and again and again, wondering where you are. They're trying to make sure you're not talking to another Filipina. Now, they don't get jealous with you talking to another American woman or a woman in another country, but heaven forbid that you're talking to another Filipina. They're going to get angry and jealous, and they're going to make you feel that you're cheating on them. And you're making them feel really, really sad because you're not committed to them alone. You're not in a committed relationship with them, even though you've only been talking for a couple of weeks now. But that telephone scam, where they get a new phone from you, and man, I've bought many girls' phones. I think I bought 5 or 6 phones before I came to the Philippines for different girls. I bought load for tons of girls. 100 pesos at a time, 500 pesos at a time. How do you know if you're sending too much load to somebody? Well, me personally, here in the Philippines, I only use about 200 pesos worth of load a month. Combined, we probably spend 500 pesos a month on our load. Now, why these girls want load? You're thinking if you send them load, it is just, their cell phone service, and you send them 500 pesos a week. That's a lot of load. And that's what I did in the beginning because I didn't know how much load was too much or not enough. 500 every week I was sending her. And that is so much extra load. There's no way she's using it. What she is doing is either sharing it with family members or she's selling it to people and just turning it around and making cash out of it. You can buy load at a Sari store. You can go there, give them 100 pesos plus a couple extra pesos, and they'll load your phone with 100 pesos of load. So that is just a simple way for girls to get money from you, making you feel like you're really helping them out and they're not scamming you. And at this early point, other than the phone, when you're sending money for some food or for load, you're really not being scammed yet. You're being set up for the scam. Now, once they got you for a new phone, which is the most common, they go from the load to needing a little bit of food to needing a phone because they have to talk to you. Something else will happen. Now you're in the romantic scam mode. Things are going to start happening at a pretty quick pace. A flat tire on the motorbike, the refrigerator breaks. They're going to want you to help buy a new refrigerator, and they're going to make you feel guilty. They're going to show you their dirty kitchen where they have wood and they're cooking their meals on a wood stove. They're burning wood. They got an old pan, and they have rice. And when they show you the meal that they eat, they're going to show you a big pot of rice. They're going to show you some dried fish, maybe some fish heads, and they're going to say, see what we have to eat. And you, sitting back in the U.S., You come home from a day's work, or you come home from a day of golfing, and you sit down and you turn on the barbecue grill, you throw a ribeye steak on there, you make a baked potato, you got this, 12 or 16 ounce ribeye steak, about an inch thick. You got your iced tea, your corn on the cob, and you're eating a big meal and you're feeling good about yourself as you have a bowl of ice cream for dessert. The girl calls you on Messenger, or you call her, and she asks you what you had to eat. You tell her, and then she shows you what she had to eat. They had rice and fish heads and some mineral water, no soda, no tea, nothing extra, just the simplest of foods. And you feel guilty, and you go, hey, I'm going to send you some extra money. I want you to go buy some chicken, some pork, some beef. I want you to eat better. So now they got you feeling bad for them that you have what you have and they don't have anything. And you're feeling guilty. So you're sending extra money for this. And it could be you look at their wood burning stove and you say, hey, I want you to go get yourself a stove. I want you to go get something nice to cook on and get some good pots and some good pans. Well, they go out and they buy a 2-burner gas stove. Now you set them up and you feel good because you've helped them out. She has a 2-burner gas stove. She has cooking gas. She has new utensils. She has new pots, new pans. You're spending money because you feel guilty. They make you feel bad. They don't really ask you for money. They just let you know what they don't have. And they look for you to voluntarily send it to them. It's a guilt trip. And don't fall for that. They're used to eating rice and fish. Janet's favorite meal is rice and dried fish. That's what she likes. She has access here to ribeye steaks and ground beef and pork, but that's what she really likes. That's one of her favorite meals, or to go down the street and buy a fish. That is what they're used to eating. That's what they like. But us, we're back in the US, we feel guilty. So we send money so they could eat better. Well, at least we think they're eating better. Remember, a great day out for them to eat is to go to one of these street barbecues and get some barbecued pork or a piece of barbecued chicken for a few pesos. They don't spend a lot of money on food here. But because you feel guilty, you send the money because you want them to have a refrigerator full of good food. And some guys I know even tell them to go buy a refrigerator. And they do. Sometimes they buy these things that people send money for. But the trouble is, guys, they don't have the money for the electricity. They'll never plug it in. That gas stove, once it runs out of cooking gas, they don't have the money to buy more gas. So you're going to have to keep doing it for them. And like Janet tells me, they like cooking on the wood. It's like barbecue. It tastes better, she says. So just because you think it's bad, just because you think it's not the quality of living that you want, that you enjoy, doesn't mean it's what they want. But the girl is going to make you feel guilty, and you're going to be sending things and money. And remember, that girl's going to tell you that gas stove costs, 5,000 pesos, where in reality, it's 2,500. So there's always some money that they're going to put in their pocket. But one of the biggest things a lot of guys fall for is the hospital scam. This is where your girl's going to tell you, oh no, my dad got in a motorcycle accident and he's in the hospital. And they're going to show you a picture. They're going to show you a picture of somebody in a hospital. You're not going to be able to see their face. Everybody standing around their bed has their back turned to the camera. There's no way you can recognize anybody, but they're going to make you feel guilty. Oh, look at my papa, he's in the hospital, or my grandmother. And they're going to have him on a gurney, their head bandaged, or they're going to have so many hoses and oxygen masks coming out of their face, you can't recognize them. And that's done on purpose because it's not really their father or their grandparent. It is just a picture they got off of Facebook, or maybe some other scammers where they're sharing this picture to send to their boyfriend, or they send it to the guy that's on the hook that they're taking advantage of. And that could be you. So this hospital scam, the funeral scam, again, my grandmother died, and they're going to show you a picture of an old woman in a casket, uh, sitting in a funeral parlor or in somebody's house, and they're going to tell you it's their grandmother, and you're going to feel bad. They're going to need help with the hospital bill or the funeral cost, and they get you to send them money. Again, they're not going to say, honey, I need 50,000 pesos. Please send it to me. They're just going to let you know the cost, that they don't have the money. And when you say, where are you going to get the money? They go, I don't know. God will provide. And somehow everything will be taken care of. And they'll tell you the father in the hospital can't be released until it's paid in full, which is not the truth, guys. And the funeral scam, they need the money to bury the parent, the grandparent. And it's not true. They've already have a crypt probably. If it is a true story, the family will usually kick in. The family usually has some place to rest the parents or the grandparents. The hospital, in public hospitals, if you're a local, if you're a Philippine citizen in the Brangy, they're going to let you go. And they're going to just send you a bill and they pay them the bill. This is public hospital, not private hospital. So be careful of the scams, especially when they show you the pictures and it's nobody. You can't see her. You don't even see the selfie. Like, why wouldn't she take a picture of herself next to her dad to show you, honey, look, I'm here with my father? Or at the funeral parlor, I know it's not something that is normally done, taking a selfie over a casket, but something that shows that it's the grandparents. And as a tip, guys, if you have a girl that you're considering a girlfriend and you think she's taking advantage of you with one of these scams, hospital, funeral, major problems, look at the siblings' Facebook. See if they're showing pictures of their parent dying or their grandparent dying or pictures of their dad in the hospital. That's what they do. They'll show their dad in the hospital and they'll put prayers for my papa, and you'll see a lot of, hearts and caring comments on there and family members making comments. And you sort of like can tell that it's sort of real, but it's hard to tell if you're not here in the Philippines, especially if you can't see the face of the person. But check out other families' Facebook, other family members' Facebook to make sure more than one person is saying there was a death in the family or someone's in the hospital. But remember, all these things, if you were not part of her life at all, they would take care of all these issues. People here in the Philippines go to public hospital. They get treated, they get taken care of, they get released, and they get a hospital bill. People here in the Philippines, when they die, things are taken care of. They can get help from the Barangi, help from other family members. Just because you start talking to somebody online and you really like them doesn't mean you're responsible to pay all the bills. What I always say to guys who are here in the Philippines and family members end up in the hospital or they end up, passing, I always say pay your fair share. But here, your boots are on the ground. You get to go see the father in the hospital. You get to go, visiting hours at the funeral home, or just, go somewhere where you can see the viewing of the body, so you can verify not just for the money end of it, but for the emotional end of it, that it's real. When you're 8,000 miles away, you might be getting played. Be very careful. And one of the biggest scams that I see here all the time, and especially up in Angeles City and the bigger cities, are these women who, I want to change my life. Now, this is a girl, she works in a bar. She's what they call a bar girl, or maybe she's a sex worker, she's a massage therapist, or she lives in the province with her family. She wants a different life. She goes, honey, if you really care about me, I don't want to be doing this anymore. I don't want to be living here anymore. I would like to have my own place so I can have private time with you until you get here. Get on the cell phone or get on WhatsApp and talk and, whatever happens during private time. But they need a change of scenery. They need a new life. And you go ahead and you become that knight in the shining armor. I'm going to save a hoe. I'm going to save you, baby. Uh, Go find yourself an apartment. I'll pay for it. And you move this girl maybe into a different town. You put her into an apartment. It's semi-furnished. It's not a five-star condo place. It's just something simple. Maybe it's 10,000 pesos a month, $200, and you move her in, you pay the utilities, you send her some money for food. So you're into this thing for about 20,000 pesos a month, which is $300-400. But then you don't know what's going on. It could be a boyfriend behind the camera. You know, when she's talking to you on the phone, maybe he steps out and goes for a walk, or he's sleeping in the bedroom and she sits on the couch, or vice versa. Maybe you don't know what she's hiding behind the camera. So you need to get off the couch. You need to get on a plane, come to the Philippines. You think the cost of the ticket is a lot. 2 weeks vacation is not enough time. You're still working. You're going to save so much more money if you make that effort and come here and meet the girl to make sure everything is real, you know. And even then, it's still questionable if it's real, if you're being scammed or not, because these girls are so good on these scams. So you move her into her place, and like I said, you have no clue what's going on, but you're giving her a new place to live. Maybe a boyfriend's going with her, and you're being scammed. But it's because these are romance scams. You think you're deeply in love with this woman, and this woman is letting you know, or at least letting you think that she really cares for you. There are instances where it happens that the woman really does care for you and everything is legit. But usually the good girls don't ask for money. They don't make you feel guilty to send them more and more money. A good scammer, a girl who knows how to play men, knows how to make you feel guilty and send a ton of money over the course of time. You could be thinking, oh, this is only $100 or this is only $300. But you know, at the end of a year, you're sending this woman, you know, 3, 5, 6, 10,000 USD. You're sending a lot of money, and it's money you'll never get back, and it's far more money than she would ever earn by herself. And then the one that really irks me the most are when you do come over here and you meet the girl. I remember one story. The guy, he met the girl and he said to her, "Let's go for a vacation. I have 10 days. Let's go for a vacation." She goes, "My parents don't want me to go by myself. They want me to bring somebody along. I want to bring my cousin with me." Well, you're thinking, cousin, go ahead. Let's more the merrier, you know. And the cousin shows up. You know, they show up at the ferry. You're going to take the ferry from Cebu, and you're going to go down to Sikihor for a couple weeks or 10 days vacation. And the cousin's a guy. So then when you get to the resort or the hotel you're staying at, you got to get 2 rooms, one for him, one for the two of you. And she's telling you, that's my cousin, and he's really nice to you. He's friendly, he's polite, he stays out of the way. You pay for all the meals, you pay for all the drinks, you pay for everything. And he's there. Well, when you leave, this one guy, he found out from a friend of hers that messaged him saying, you know, the cousin that came with you while you were on that vacation, that was her husband. And the husband's going, I'm getting a free vacation. I'm getting free meals. I'm happy. And he doesn't mind pimping his wife out to have a great time. So you have to be careful on those. And then the one, like I said, really irks me is after you meet the girl, you go back to the US. 2 months later, she's saying, honey, I'm pregnant. Now you say, oh my God, you're pregnant. What am I going to do? And you stand up. You say, okay, I'm going to be a responsible man. I'm going to, you know, take care of this child. You're telling the girl, hey, I'm going to take care of everything. I'll make arrangements for me to come over there and we can get married and, you know, get citizenship for the child, U.S. citizenship, and take care of all that stuff. Well, you're sending support. She says, oh, I need to go see a doctor. I can't work no more. And whatever, you're increasing the support. You believe she's with child. She's with your child. Well, after about 2 more months, she goes, honey, I had a miscarriage. You know, I have hospital bills because of this. And you feel really bad and you send more money and then she disappears. Or she plays the pregnancy out as long as she can. And then the day you decide you're going to come to the Philippines, she hits you up for one last amount of money. Maybe it's the money to travel from where she's at to Manila to meet you at the airport. And once you send her that money, then she ghosts you and you never hear from her again. It's the fake pregnancy. So, guys, be careful. Use your common sense, street smarts. Don't get a girl pregnant. Wear some protection. You know, have a great time, but keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes wide open for these scams. When things don't seem right, they probably aren't right. Now, I'm going to tell you a story about a gentleman here, and this never happened to me. And a lot of these scams that I've told you already, a lot of them have happened to me, but this one has not. This one here, thank God it never happened to me. There's a story of Jeff. I know Jeff. I met him online after this happened. He came to Cebu. We sat down and we talked about it. I did a video about it before, but I'm going to tell you the story again. I change the names all the time, so to keep his privacy. But Jeff's telling me he met a girl on a vacation here that he really liked, and he met her, and they had a great time. And he came back for another trip after about 3 months to see her again, and he decided she was the right girl for him, and he wanted to get married. Well, they went through all the paperwork, but he didn't get married. That was the plan to do when he retires in about a year. So everything's going good. They're talking on the phone. They're meeting a lot. He comes back for a third visit. And while he's back, she tells him, you know, honey, it'll be great if we could buy some land and build a house. And when you get here, we have a place to live. You won't have to bounce around dirty hotel, dirty hotel. We can come right to your home and have a great retirement life. When he was here, they went around and looked at different lots, and there was one lot that he liked. And when he went back to the States, he thought about it, and he said to her, yes, honey, go ahead and buy that lot, and we'll start to build a house. Well, he sent her the money for the lot, and she was really smart about this. She goes, it's on installment payments. So you have 1 year to pay for the lot. I need 50% down and then so much every month until it's paid off in full. That sounded great to Jeff, less money he had to put out. He really trusted her, so he sent her the money. She bought the lot, supposedly, and he's back home now to build a house. She goes, honey, here's the designs for a house. And they talked about it. She showed him some designs of a small house that they wanted to build. And he goes, that sounds great. Let's go ahead and start this. And she started sending him pictures. The guys came, they dug the trench, they built the wall, they built the septic system, they laid the foundation for the house, they built the walls of the house, they got a roof on it. Everything was going along. He was getting pictures constantly about this house. And it wasn't one of these deals where he had to pay up front. It was he had to pay for the materials as he went along. And she would always send him the invoices. She would say, honey, this is how much it is for the hollow block. This is how much it is for labor. And he would send the money, but he would always get photos of things and the progress of this house being built and everything happening. Well, to make a long story short, the house finally got finished. And he wasn't going to come to the Philippines for another month, but he decided the house is done. I'm going to go ahead and retire early. He gave up his job. He got on a plane. He flew to the Philippines. He went to where the house was being built, and the house was finished. And he went up to the gate, and the girl's not there. He wanted to surprise her. He thinks she's living inside the house. He goes to the door. He knocks on the door. A man answers and says, can I help you? And Jeff goes, this is my house. I come here to live in the Philippines, and I built this house. The guy looks at him and says, no, buddy, this is my house. I built this house. And Jeff, he starts arguing with him, and then he gets out his phone, and he starts showing all the pictures, and he shows a picture of his girlfriend, and the guy goes, oh, that's who she is. She was here almost every day giving snacks to the help, taking pictures. She kept saying she was taking pictures for a future house that her and her boyfriend wanted to build. So she kept all the money. Jeff can't find her, has no clue where she's at, all gone. So, Jeff had to go back to being just a tourist here in the Philippines, renting an apartment month to month. And that was a big take. He lost a lot of money in that deal. But the rule is never buy property or a home until you're here in the Philippines full time, because the laws do not protect you. And in this case, he never bought anything. It was just somebody with fake documents, copies of receipts, taking advantage of the workers and probably sharing some of the money with the workers to get copies of the invoices to take nice photos for her. And he got taken pretty good to the cleaners. That was a big deal there. But the last one I want to give you, and this to all you foolish guys out there who are never coming to the Philippines, and you get on there and you find a girl that's super sexy and you're messaging her back and you're saying, hey, baby, I'll send you, $40 if you do a, sexy dance for me. And, the girl says, I don't know. And next thing one thing leads to another and you're having self gratification on the camera, her and you. And, not so good. My advice is keep everything below the camera, keep the waist off the frame. What happens at times, a guy will get a letter and it's going to be, hi, I am so and so's boyfriend, and I see you're having cyber sex with my girlfriend. What's going on here? And he just sends you that email. Then the next day you get a follow-up email and says, hey, I'm going to send this to everybody in your Facebook, to your family, your friends, the place that you work. I'm going to send it everywhere unless you send me money. He's blackmailing you because you did the dirty nasty on the camera. Well, guys, don't put yourself in that position. It's so easy to screen record everything nowadays. Keep your hands below the camera. Don't let people know what you're doing. If you do something like that, I'm saying don't do it. Don't ask for naked pictures. Don't send money for photos, and be more careful. But that is something that happens to some guys. I read about it all the time. You need to learn to be careful, guys. As a romantic scam, as we're older and we're more vulnerable to things that can happen, we're more lonely. So be careful, watch for the warning signs, and get off your butt, get on a plane, come to the Philippines and meet that girl in person. Remember, it starts off small and it could end up with being a whole house that you buy. So until next time, guys.